and then questions specific to their thing. So if someone, right now, we're applying for planning commission, they'd have 5 questions.
We only have 3 applicants, though. None of them now are planning commission. Yep.
We have 2 for the planning commission.
We do not have an applicant for the planning commission. So
Tonight,
we need
on
to
tonight's
ask
schedule.
What about Christine?
She's,
her
Police civil
application
service
for
and-
the police civil service.
Okay,
Yes, PS.
okay.
PCSC is Police Civil Service.
Only your 605 applicant was,
And Jim's just walking up now. He just texted me, he's just running a little late. Just wants to come in. So.
Alan.
Do you have your tardy pass? Your tardy pass?
So we can let the record show that Mr. Lannis did join us at 25 after.
All right, so we probably need to ask. What, 2 questions each? And so,
Well, so in the growing list of things, I was going to sign up for number 4 of the Police Civil Service Commission. And so it would seem...
didn't Marv ask for number 4 on that?
That was,
Betsy, was it? Sorry, I wrote it in the wrong area. Okay.
So, Jim, we're looking at some of these questions. And so
Here's someone for John.
these are the ones that have a claim on them right
I
now.
was just gonna show 'em.
And so if you want to find a couple that look interesting to you, or in John's case, he's going to write one of his own here eventually.
Wow. Very exciting.
Was not satisfied.
Creative
Well,
writing.
I was satisfied. It's just we don't have very many planning commission questions, so I figure we're going to need some more anyway. I'll take number 2 under civil service. So will the format be then that we maybe each ask them 2 questions? And that way the
could
the
be
shorter
fine, yep.
questions would be fine, and then
So, for both the council and those at home, we did have one of the scheduled people for tonight, Mary Jo Clausen, has had a change in her situation, so she has withdrawn. So we'll only be doing 2 interviews tonight.
I would take 3 under the Betsy. Maybe 2 under the planning.
what's left?
is that
Well-
under general?
Let's see here. According to my list, in the not general questions, we have under business and economic development, a question about background in public funding opportunities, grants, revolving loans. And we have then 2 questions under police civil service. And what do you think of the major challenges, or what do you think are the major challenges for law enforcement? And one of the purposes of
I'll take 3 then.
Okay. Unless somebody does everybody have at least 2 at this point? But, so if we have somebody comes in for the planning commission, there's 2 general questions to ask, and then there's 4 specific questions, providing you ask one about training. And that's a total of 6, which is 4 short of, you have 2 questions apiece.
I was saying 2 questions apiece just for these people that are applying for 2 commissions.
I realize that.
Do we have additional ones that are going to be applying for
Oh, I see, okay,
2
all right.
commissions? I thought
I'm
tonight
catching
was
up now.
additional ones.
Mr. Mayor, Council, next week, the 29th, each
Somebody wants to ask
individual
me
will
one,
either
I'll
be
call them.
reappointed or applying just for one position. Well, it is only tonight that you have someone, two candidates that are applying for multiple commissions.
So, because I'm in the best position of continually putting myself in positions I shouldn't be, I think we should have a discussion. We talk about being an open, transparent government, and I can tell you that we're going to be interviewing a person during this process that I do not believe should be on any of our commissions. And we've had somebody drop out, and so we currently have commissions that there are applicants that equal the number of openings. And so I've had some discussions with our attorney about it, and I've had a couple of discussions with a couple of the different council members. But I think that we should approach that situation in a very open and frank manner and come up with a determination, if any, about how to handle such a situation. I could just be myself that has these feelings. If so, I'll be quiet. But I mean, we have somebody that should, in my opinion, not be on a commission. Yes, Mr. Nephew.
Mr. Mayor, I would suggest that one way to deal with that as a general policy matter going forward would be for any consideration of commissions in the future to have a null candidate on these ranking sheets. So you would be able to begin with no appointment as the choice before you've interviewed anybody. And then if you've interviewed somebody and you'd be willing to appoint them, they go above no appointment. And if you would not be willing to appoint them, regardless if there's nobody else there, then they go under no appointment. And then no appointment is ranked just like a candidate. And if no appointment wins, then there's an advertisement for openings and a request for resumes and applications again.
I think last time around, Dewey actually went on the telephone and called quite a number of people, tried to get them to apply. And some of those same applicants may want to be, called up again.
Well, and I believe that our staff does keep a file of past applicants, and they contact them when there are new openings. And so I think that does occur, but, it's not up to the staff or up to us, to be recruiting people. We're trying to get people to volunteer. And so, I mean, if there is someone that you know of who's good for something, you think that you should say, hey, you should give this a shot, you'd be good at it, and that's great. But at the moment, we have a situation before us that we're going to have to deal with before we make final recommendations for our selections for these current commission openings, and we don't have a process in place that allows us to do, for example, what Mr. Nephew was
I
talking
think John's
about.
idea is great. And then if we're not happy with the applicants we're getting, we move on until we get some applicants we're happy with.
Well, and so that is also, I know that we've done that in the past, that we have had situations where we just say that, we want to continue advertising before we make any appointments. And so, Ms. Gentleman.
I agree with both you and John, and I also think that at some point we need to revisit the thing about multiple commission occupation, if you will. We've had that discussion before, and sometimes it appears that we're short for people who want to be on commissions. On the other hand, I said this before, so I'll say it again, I don't think anyone should be on more than one commission. So there you go. So we have to have that conversation sometime down the line, too. Even if it means we go back out for advertisement, we're trying to involve a greater number of people. And I just don't think it's a good idea to load up commissions with people that are already on one.
And so what does the council feel that we should do at the moment with this process?
Make a motion, John?
Should I offer a motion for my suggestion?
Yeah.
I don't think we can actually do that at a workshop.
No, all you can do is, you could give us directions to revise your ballot. and then you can turn in the ballots you have this evening. Since you really won't be voting on any of the commissioners this evening, you only have two. 1 week from tonight, you'll have the remainder of the candidates, and then you can rank all the candidates. And on that ballot, you would have a no appointment column. We would add that onto the ballot. You can put any particular names you wished under the no appointment point. And then when we bring it back to you with the results, we would indicate just that there's still an opening for any of the positions you would like to appoint.
And I do not believe that any of our policies actually dictate the form of voting that we use,
No, they
because
do not.
we've gone back and forth on that multiple times. Ms. Juniman?
And the other thing is that we've gone through different phases, and you've sat in a chair as long as I have, of thinking that we should just appoint people who have applied. But if people just say, I want to serve my community, that's a little general, depending on the commission. And so I think if that's the kind of application we get, we do need to keep opening it up and saying, well, what do you have to offer for this commission? Because it's nice to be a volunteer, but that's not, in some cases anyway, enough. Anybody can learn, but there are certain things, one of them is police civil service. I mean, you know, I would like to help. Oh, on a 3-person commission, there's no learning curve. So you have to have some knowledge base of some kind, other than, I'd love to help.
Mr. Nephew?
The other, I guess the one option, as I suggested, would be to have the no appointment as a candidate, in quotes, or a null candidate. The other option would be that actually a person could split the motion when the actual rankings are brought to the city council for a vote, because all of these workshops come up with a proposed list that is then recommended to the council that we normally do on a consent, kind of almost consent agenda type basis. But somebody could certainly say, you know, I'd like to do a separate motion for a particular candidate that I don't wish to appoint.
I did that last
And then get a second and so forth. So that would be the other way to do it if we didn't want to change the voting procedure. But I think that the voting procedure probably is the easier way to do it.
I would tend to agree. And so I think that that we should, particularly now we only have 2 candidates tonight, and then the main batch of the current ones will be next Monday, providing we actually authorize the meeting to do that. And so I would agree with Mr. Nephew about having a ballot that allows us to not appoint anyone if we don't think that we have anybody that we feel we want to appoint. These appointments are done really at our desire. They serve at the will of the council. These are not employees of the city. You know, these are people that we feel will do a good job. And so Mr. Nephew is obviously there. I'm fine. Sounded like Kathy's fine. Tim's nodding. I think Marv said he was all right with
Yep.
that.
So we just won't use the ballot tonight at all.
Well, you can mark it. It's your ballot. It doesn't get turned in until the end, and we'll have different ones. So you can mark it as you feel you need to
That's
keep
what I mean,
notes.
there's going to be no turning them in like we did last time.
Yeah. Okay, so we're set on that, and so I believe that we'd be ready to take the first applicant.
When you're finished figuring it out.
We started down there last time, I think. We'll go from the other end this way.
Well, we should really go in.
Good evening.
Because it kind of makes sense.
Thank you for taking the time to come in tonight.
Yes, thank you.
And so, as you are aware, we have some set questions that we'll be asking. You have a little bit longer interview time, and I apologize for taking longer to get ready.
That's okay.
But you'll be happy to know that our last person had dropped out, and so we still had plenty of time to fit in the couple of interviews for tonight without
Okay.
squeezing them in.
Good. And is this for one commission or 2 commissions?
This will be for 2.
Okay.
And so, according to what I have in front of me, Diana, you have the Police Civil Service Commission and the Business and Economic Development Commission listed.
Yep.